Savings are good, but as good as savings are, they can only help you to a given level stabilize your income. It will take much more than savings to make you somebody who is able to build wealth. And that's where investing comes in. In this video, I want to tell you 10 things that you must know about investing. Join me. Hi there, I'm Olushola. Welcome to my channel. I must start by saying that if it's your very first time listening to me, you have been missing out on a whole lot. But not to worry, it's never too late. Welcome home. If it's your very first time, here's a good time to tell you to kindly click on the subscribe button. I'm waiting. Thank you. Did you know that about 90% of people lose money in the stock market regularly? And while I might not have all the reasons as to why that is happening, in this video, I want to teach you formidable skills that will help you take your investing game from this level to this level. It leads me to number one. Have a clear purpose and timing for your investment. Listen, investing is simply, a way to have your money work for you and build wealth for you over a given period of time, which means that you usually should have a purpose behind investment. In investments, just like saving, it is very important for you to have a purpose behind what you do. So for example, while saving, you usually say stuff like, I'm saving for a house, I'm saving to buy a landed property. In investment also, it is very important for you to say, oh, I'm investing to have a passive income. Oh, I'm investing to have an active income. I'm also investing to be able to generate so much wealth to ensure that my retirement fund is able to hold me after my work life. It's very crucial to understand that it is the purpose that now gives a timing to your investment. So if, for example, I'm trying to invest to build some wealth surrounding building a formidable career in my 40s, then I would ensure that I understand first and foremost that this is a time-bound investment. So I'll be able to say, okay, it is now short-term, or okay, no, it is mid-term, or oh, it is long-term, for example, in the case of retirement. So this must guide every single activity that we go. What's the purpose of the investment? The purpose will then point you to the timing, because the timing is also very important. You must set a given estimation for your investment. This will ensure that you are able to invest wisely. Okay, am I investing for a short term? What's a short term investment? Maybe something that will be within like 3 months or 6 months, something that will give you an immediate ROI. Or would it be a mid-term investment, something for 3 to 5 years to 7 years? Or would it be a long-term game? So the timing of the investment and the purpose of it will then define every other point that will follow in this video. It will define how you would approach your investment portfolio. Number two, you must understand the types of investments that are suitable for your goals. This is very serious. This is just like a re-echoing of the very first point that I made, but this time around, fleshing it out a little bit more. Remember, the purpose of the investment and then the timing. And then when you already know your goals, you now have to pick the very investments that are in line with it. So, for example, if you were trying to invest on a short to mid-term, okay, a cryptocurrency investment, for example, could be a go-to. If you're trying to invest for long-term, for example, a real estate investment might come to mind even more. But imagine you were trying to have a short-term investment and you were looking at real estate. Oh boy, it would have really made the best of sense at that point in time. So you need to understand the very kind of, goal that you have with the investment, and then look for something or an investment that is tailor-made to it. So you should understand the pros and cons of every single investment. It's not just good enough or noble enough to say that I just want to invest for the sake of doing great or for the sake of having some money somewhere. No, you have to understand that every single investment you dabble into is in line with the goal at the end of the day. What are the pros and cons of investing in stocks and bonds? What are the goals of putting my money in treasury bills, for example? All of these things have to be in line with the very reason that you wanted to go into the investment in the very first place. So your investment portfolio should reflect your goals, your risk tolerance, and your time horizon. I should be able to look at your investment portfolio and say for certain, oh, this young man is trying to leave something for his kids in the future. Oh, this young man is trying to make some money for himself in the next 10 years. Your investment portfolio should be a mirror of your goals itself. And this leads me to number 3. Understand that investment is risky. Look, I know many times your financial analyst will always try to, make you feel like a particular investment could be safer than another, and I understand that, because the goal of every single financial analyst is to help you mitigate, the possible risks that would surface in every single investment. But one thing is for sure, every single investment is risky. And while the levels of risk might vary from one to another, it is a rule that all investments are risky. This is very crucial. So one thing I want to tell you will now be this, that one way you can combat the possible risks is through diversification. Diversification has helped me a lot. For example, I have some, business investments that are for the immediate, some are for the long term, some are for the short term. I have business investments, hovering around different sectors. If you're investing in fashion, for example, if you're investing in cryptocurrencies, investing in this, investing in that, investing in an FMCG, for example, you must understand that every single of them come with different risks, right? But the fastest or the smartest way to be able to combat every single one of these risk opportunities is by diversifying. Do not put all your eggs in one basket. If you put all your eggs in one basket, that basket will determine your life, pretty much. It will determine your life, it will determine what is left of you. But I would always advise that you have, investments scattered around. So no matter what happens to one that might even look super promising, right? The rest could still be standing sure. So diversification helps you to manage expectations also. So all investments are risky, and your solution really is diversification. So I would always say, do not always look for highly volatile investments and put all your money in it. And also, don't just look for only low volatile investments, because that could be a longer road to building sustainable wealth. So this is very, very important. Number 4, the level of returns that you seek usually is tied to the level of risk. I cannot begin to tell you how important this particular one is, and it's a bit of a slippery slope. Now, it's just the truth. Now, usually, you tend to make more money when you go all out into something. So what I usually will always tell people is, when it comes to investing, right, I tend to allocate the smallest part of my money to high risk investments. So for example, imagine I have an investment capital of maybe $100 million, amen, for example. And let's say I usually would kind of dabble more towards using 40% for low risk, 40% for mid risk, maybe 20% for high risk. Now, the 20%, I know that when it comes, let's say I put $20 million, I know that, okay, these things could definitely give maybe an ROI of 100% in a year, for example, right? And I know that there's also the possibility that the money might not come back, right? So one thing I always tell you is that in as much as every single investment is risky, usually I would say that as long as the metrics check out, as long as the investees are credible people and credible people, and they're not going to run away with your money, for example, okay, I would say that you shouldn't run away from high risk investment. For example, are you aware that most venture capitals, okay, that put money in tech companies, for example, understand that it's also a high risk venture? That something is high risk, okay, does not necessarily mean that it's something you should run away from. This is very important. So a wise and a smart business person is somebody who knows how to strike a balance between high and low risk. If you always play low risk, right, you are never really going to you're going to be like a small fish in the pond. Let's be really candid. Okay, so there has to be a balance to it, and you must understand it. And this is very important, because I've seen several low risk investments turn high risk overnight. And I've also seen high risk investments, give you all that it promised you and more. But in all, I will just tell you this, in the words of Mark Twain, I am more interested in the return of my money than the return on my money, which means that any investment that gives you your money back in one piece is much, much safer than the one that promises you heaven and earth but runs with all your capital. So the balance is very key. Number 5, you should invest regularly and consistently. Now, this is very important. Always try to have a given part of your income or revenue that you allocate to investments. I cannot say this enough. Many times, a lot of investors tend to always want to time the market. And I'll give an industry, for example. Look at the cryptocurrency space. Many times we always try to time the market, and we'll wait, study the charts, wait for this time, and now it's not the buying time, now is this. Now, I always will instead advise that you learn to space your investments. Invest regularly, because many times the market can never truly be perfectly timed. And if you always wait for a perfect timing on the market, you will miss out on several investments. So it is always good to spread it over time. Invest here. Sometimes it could hurt you so much to understand that if you had waited for maybe just a few seconds more, you will have gotten a better deal. However, it's still not bad getting it at that particular point in time. There's something that is called dollar cost averaging. So over a given point in time, every single thing will all come together in a compound interest. Are you getting this? So it will not necessarily matter in the end if you bought something at $2 or if you bought it at $3 or $4.5, as long as that particular investment gets to $20 per share. Do you get this now? Because you've been able to condition yourself to investing regularly and consistently, you'll be able to reap the benefits. It might not always be 10x. Sometimes it could be 2x, and 2x could be enough. All right. So, and because of my time and how much I want to give you a lot of time to soak these 5 points in, I will be calling it a day here. So I hope that this part 1 of the 10 tips on how to invest has been able to, help you to a given extent improve your investment game. Okay, so all I would say is watch out for part 2. It drops in 2 weeks time. All right, thank you so much, and this is a very good time for me to ask you to kindly like this video and also share to as many people as possible so they can get to view it. And if you still haven't subscribed, my God, you are committing the biggest sin of all time. So kindly subscribe and turn on post notifications so you'll be the very first person to see when part 2 drops. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'm going to see you in the next video. Ireo.